Howdy, 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 my name is Anachi Sasuke, and welcome back to Let's Read Homestuck. In the last episode, Jaspro's Sprite Squared happened. I have no idea if I'm saying that name right. I'm also a bit confused as to why there's two Dave and Dirk conversations. But anyway, there's a whole bunch of more conversations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then there's this paragraph here, which I read last time, but I'm going to read it again anyway, because it's been like 3 days since I read this. Wow! 10 path options! Wait a minute. You click and click, but nothing happens. Oh, right, that's it, because it just goes. This path selection screen seems to be broken. Looks like free will got greedy and overloaded the thing with choice. It's a good thing I decided to reread this. Rendering the graphic up there completely useless, except you guess it's a cool rollover thingy. For the first time ever in the over 9,000 page history of this website, you begin to feel slightly deceived. Oh, how you would have loved to taste the fruit of free will one last time before this wild ride jerked our bodies to a deadly stop. Alas, it is not to be. You must proceed through all of these options linearly, one by one. You click the link below, as usual. I'm really glad I decided to reread that, otherwise I was actually going to be trying to click these things. Because I'm stupid. So, that was pretty fucking weird, huh? Yeah. I've been giving them, like, the same voice, so I don't know how I'm going to do this now. That was your sister? Sorta. But I guess she fused with her dead cat or something? Dead cat. The bottom line is, we turn our back for 2 seconds and a shenanigan happened. Pretty much business as usual. At least that's how it rolls for us. I don't know about you guys here. No, yeah. That's pretty much true here, too. Yeah? I turned my back once. Never again. What happened? A muscular troll took my sprite, and I then acquiesced into merging him with my jackass pair of sunglasses. Oh, right. That guy. Yeah. As they just awkwardly look around. So indeed. So is pretty much the thing we're saying. That's our conjunction of choice, it seems. Fuck. I guess you all pretty much showed up then. Yeah, pretty much. Like, before I even got back, after the werewolf girl appeared and... Wait, what happened with that? It's like a whole story, man, mostly involving Vriska. Vriska? If you knew her, you'd know that's all I had to say. You'd be like, oh, it's a Vriska thing. Okay, I got it. Forget it, I asked. She brought you here too, actually, then jumped her ass in that window to go do whatever crazy bullshit she thinks needs getting done. Oh, right. Her. Then... I guess stuff in this session is pretty much sorted out, finally? Shrug, maybe. And we're about to do battle. Seems like it. Oh. Are we ready for that? Kind of. Carcat made some drawings, so... Are you ready? I guess? I've got, like, a sword and shit. Cool, me too. Yeah, I know. Mine's not that good. That's too bad. What type of sword? It's Welsh. I mean, probably fake Welsh. I'm not that sure. Well, mine's good. I know. It's Japanese? For real? No, I don't know. Probably fake Japanese. Fake Japanese? Kind of like how all anime probably takes place in some kind of fake Japanese universe? Something like that. That's cool. Tough getting a sword from a place like that. Yeah. Awkward silence. So, when are we supposed to fight? God, I hope soon. Okay, so that's one. Next up. Okay, now that, that little episode seems to be over, Roxy, maybe you can introduce us to your friend for real this time. Rose, I think you can come out from under the pillow now. No! Yeah, so like this hilarious Cheshire Cat Rose already pointed out, or like the hilarious Cheshire Cat Rose already pointed out, this is my friend from the dead Callie and from the dead Callie, and she's super pretty. She seems nervous. She was my web friend online for a long time, and Jane's too. Jane, you just saw her, but here she is again alive and everything. Hi, so good to see you again. Yes, likewise, Jane. And without your troll Sona, no less. This is your true form, I presume? I think both Roxy and the enthusiastic cat girl are correct. Your natural appearance is quite handsome. Gosh! I'm sorry, I do not know how to reply to such remarks. Maybe it's because I can't bring myself to agree, no matter how nice it is for you to say so. I hear ya. Taking compliments can be kind of hard sometimes. Like, if it's a weird subject for you, we can lay off. Callie, you were surrounded by ass-kissers? You should allow me to lick your face so I can make an objective determination. Damn it, Terezi! It's the only way we'll know for sure, though if I'm being honest, you smell pretty ugly from where I'm standing. Oh my god, you were terrible! Please, John, I did not mean that in an unflattering way. I think having a skull for a head is pretty sick. If given the choice, I might rock the look myself, but I wouldn't stand for a bunch of cloying weenies sitting around calling me pretty. If that's how people reacted, what would even be the point in looking like a badass skullgirl in the first place? Okay, I guess that is your opinion on that then. Thanks for sharing, Terezi. Don't listen to her, Callie. She's a weirdo. So anyway, regardless of how you feel about yourself, or whatever thing a rude troll may have to say, I think you're very cute. Even though you look a lot like your terrible brother, the fact that you're nice inside makes a huge difference. I think that when you're a really good person deep down, instead of an evil jerk, the skull monster look becomes a lot more charming. Wow, thank you. You met my brother? Yeah, he's garbage. I'm really sorry you had to grow up with him. Me too. I roughed him up a bit though, so it's all good. Ripped up his cape pretty good too. He has a cape now? Not anymore. Hey, look, there it is. Nice. What? The ring. I helped track it down through time for Roxy so she could give it to you. It's so cool to see that it works. Yes, I feel so much more substantial now. You must be a really good friend to her for her to want to bring you back so much. Yes, she's as good a friend as I could ever hope for. But then, since you helped, I suppose I owe you just as much gratitude, don't I? Nah, not really. I had to save the ring anyway, and it just seemed like the right thing to do giving it to her, since she was so worried about you. It should be a nice thing that is between her and you. I'm just a middleman. Okay. Anyway, it's really nice to meet the person who finally gets to wear the highly touted ghost ring. It probably means you're pretty special to end up with it. What do you think you'll do with your life now that you're alive and free from your jerky bro? Oh, wow. I hadn't really thought about it. The idea is overwhelming, really. Well, don't sweat it. You'll have a lot of time to figure it out. That's kind of the point of life, right? To take a lot of time floundering around figuring stuff out. The answer will come to you eventually. You should just try to have fun. My ear feels weird. Ugh. Yo, Troll Grouch. John is so nice. It's fucking me up. I know, it's so disgusting. Excuse me, Callie. What happened after I woke up? We were all following that mysterious path. Did you and Jade discover where that led? Yes, I met my other self. Oh, so you found her then. Indeed, or more likely, the timing in the furthest ring was right. Perhaps she sensed me in some way and untangled a path through the darkness? In other words, it feels more as though I was summoned rather than being the one to find her. She seems tremendously powerful. She's also quite frightening. Frightening? Not that I think she's dangerous or has ill intent. My impression was very much to the contrary. Still, while speaking to her, I can't remember ever feeling so nervous. Not even my brother made me feel that way. Her demeanor was so severe and chilling and so unlike mine, I think. Maybe that's why you felt weird, seeing a version of you that wasn't like you at all? Maybe. So what happened? Not much. My presence there essentially freed her from that place, according to a pact she made with Echidna. She and Jade then left to do what I do not know. That is when Roxy found me. So you were only there to release her? Are you sure there isn't something more important for you to do now that you're alive and with us? I doubt it. For one thing, I have virtually no useful abilities. I don't mean to badger you, I'm just wondering how you fit into all this. Getting to wear a one-of-a-kind ring and returning to join a group about to wage a pivotal battle, that strikes me as the profile of someone meant to do something important. What do you think you'll do? Maybe it doesn't have to work that way, though. What if those are just some facts about her, which let her come back to life, but they don't have to mean anything other than that, like anything about having to do some huge fancy thing? I guess so. First Dave tells me human beings don't have arcs, and now you're telling me that the culmination of an epic doesn't require a messianic archetype to return from the dead, thereby providing the key to everyone's salvation? I wonder what sturdy and time-tested narrative construct Jade is going to debunk whenever she wakes up. Maybe she'll lay waste to the notion of endgame ships. Carcat won't be happy about that. Huh? Okay, I don't know what stuff you're going on about there, but I just don't think she would feel like she has anything to do. I just don't feel like she should have to do anything she doesn't want to. I think the truth is, I won't be doing much of anything. My other self told me as much. Her advice was to just live and exist as a version of us for whom that is an actual possibility. She's the one who will be doing important things. How so? She didn't say. Isn't that just how it always is with alt selves? So cryptic. Hey guys, it's been cool having y'all meet Callie and such, but do you think she and I could have a moment alone? Got some stuff I want to talk about. And now we're here again. Oh hey, it's that. I'm going to drink some water before I do that. Also, it's not even been 11 minutes yet. These conversations are moving quick. Not as quick as this one's going to go. Are these chairs or rocks? Are they on like Jake's planet? Hey, it's the Juju. What's up with the parentheses? Or I guess it's because she's the ghost Frisco, but there's a real one now. You know, I've got to say, I've really turned around on horses. What? Horses. I used to hate them. Remember? I developed this weird superstition about them, about how they're cursed or something, and when they're around, they can only lead to bad things happening. Don't you remember how I was going on and on about that a while ago at the amusement park? Oh, I guess so. But we've been hanging around them for a while now, and everything's been fine. More than fine, actually. So yeah, horses are okay in my book. What do you think, Mina? About what? Or about what? Horses! They're okay. Kinda dumb and smelly, be making like fucked up sounds out of their big ass snouts and floppy lips. Yeah, reminds me of the weird sounds that used to come from my neighbor's hive at weird hours of the night. The fuck? Don't even ask, because I don't know. Scoot. So enough about stupid animals whose presence have no rational explanation anyway. What do you want to do today? Today? Yeah, there's no today. You know what I mean? Within the ambiguous time frame that would loosely correlate with a singular rotation of a planet. Any ideas? Nah. Come on! We can't just spend all our days hanging out in this idyllic, bizarrely powdered cliffscape with all these stinking idiot quadrupeds. We should go exploring some more bubbles. We explored an awful lot already. Ain't they sort of all the same by now? I mean, roughly speaking, yeah. They're all arbitrary memory collages, I guess, but there's always something new to see every time. Whose ridiculous memory will we visit next? Like, some nutty version of Kanaya who became a god tier in some totally ludicrous version of our session, or maybe a version of John who never even played the game at all. Maybe he went outside to look for the game and his father less has whacked him, or backed over him with his car. Or what about your friends? They're always fun. Like Nepetta's ancestor, the deaf one, she's a riot. Plus she has a fascinatingly dark history which her memories always seem to hint at. Or Eridan's douchier clone, I know you have a great time whenever you get the chance to own him. So what do you say? I don't know. But you seem kind of bored. If you're bored, does it make sense to go out and try to have fun? Not really. But why? Because it doesn't sound that fun. Just sounds like the same shit as always. Like, exactly like dreams. Dreams? They are dream bubbles after all. Yeah, but I don't... Dreams are also like a crazy fantasy ride full of fake shit that makes no sense. It's a great time in theory, and I guess when you're younger it's fun. Maybe you even look forward to sleeping, to see what the great Mr. Sandclam has in store for you next. But after sweeps and sweeps of dreaming, you get used to it. It's just the same bogus crap your stupid brain is just shuffling up and serving you again and again. So you stop paying attention and just ride out your sleep, then get back to business in the real world like a legit person with cool plans. Huh. I don't think I've had the same experience, honestly. Sounds like kind of a bummer to look at dreaming like that, or look at it that way. I always liked dreaming. I mean, unless they were awful dreams, which was fairly often, but I'd never say I actually really got bored of them. Yeah, well, you're a bit younger than me. I am? Yeah, I guess so. I never thought about it. Then again, we fuchsia ladies, we sort of gotta have to get used to being around people younger than us over our full lives, like much younger. Or at least I'd have to if I was actually alive. I guess you're right about that. Or that too. That's pretty fucked up to think about, actually. That if you were alive, you'd have to deal with existing nearly forever. That almost as fucked up as the fact you have to exist nearly forever while dead, too. Hey. Are you okay? Yep. You seem really down. No, I'm cool. Are you sure? Maybe not. Don't matter. What's wrong? Nothing. You know you can talk to me, right? Yeah? So tell me! I don't know what's wrong. I'd tell you if I knew. Are you depressed? Shrug. It sounds to me like you may be depressed about something, or just in general? I don't know! Damn, Fishka! Hey, it's okay to be depressed. I think just because you're dead, that doesn't necessarily let you off the hook from having psychological problems. I'm pretty sure I proved that to myself on more than one occasion already. Yeah. So talk to me. Maybe I can help. What's the big deal? I don't wanna. Mina, what? I'm not good at like talking about me. That's all you ever talk about. No, I mean in a non-aggrandizing way. Is that even a word, or is it a fish pun? Oh. Oh, it's actual Vriska. Sorry if I'm interrupting whatever the fuck is going on here, but I'm afraid I'm going to need that treasure. Okay, then. Sorry, I bumped into my microphone. Now it's time for the next one. Hey! Hope you don't mind us since I pulled you off to the side like this, away from the other nice pals for a little one-on-one Roxy and Cal time. I might be greedy as shit. I don't mind at all. I'm still getting used to the concept of in-person socialization at all, let alone with many people, and yes, you may be greedy, but if so, then so am I by the exact same standard. Fuck yes! Like a couple of friendship burglars picking each other's pockets all shifty-eyed and looking out for cops, but also giggling, I guess, because that is in the spirit of the scenario in question. Yes. I can't believe you're really here. It hardly seems real. After all these years and how you were just like a mystery friend online and then how worried I was we might lose you for good, but now, wow. I know. So you and Jane and Jay were hanging out? Yes, it was great. We drew and told stories. I heard you died, so I was holding out some hope that you would show up too, and you did eventually, just not the version of you I expected. I never dared to think you would bring me this gift. Well, I swore I would, and John kind of double swore he would help. Damn, the kid is persistent. I like him. He's easy to talk to. Yeah, I've read about him, of course. The reality of someone standing in front of you is quite different from what you read about them in a text. But then, I have no idea how accurate anything I read is anymore. I always believed I was in possession of the text which decoded your future, and I behaved towards all of you in that sly and knowing manner, avoiding spoilers and such. That was probably presumptuous of me, though, in hindsight. I clearly didn't know that much. I certainly didn't read anything about my own involvement. I never could have imagined being here. You were still helpful, though. You were the force in our lives that gave us gave us hope that we could all get together someday. Going down that road has been crazy, and by no means a smooth ride. I'm losing count of all the times it looked like everything was about to break or catch fire, or actually did break and catch fire, resulting in loads of dismay. But when you look back, every time things went to shit there was always something constructive about that turn of events. Something that was necessary for the good outcome to happen at all. So, whenever something stupid happens, like some a-hole gets a bonehead idea to steal a ring and then everyone dies horribly, at the time you think you're just going to curl up and cry yourself into weepy non-existence, maybe those aren't even bad realities. Maybe they're as important as any, and so are all the experiences that you had in them, and so are the experience of everyone who died, because you don't just get to say your experiences are more important or significant just because you happen to be someone who survived longer. I guess what I'm saying is, I'm grateful you let me go on this adventure, and not even in spite of the hardship it involved. I just had a little time to think about it in the Firefly Nothing space, and I think all of it was good. I'm happy that I could play such a role in your lives. I don't know if I deserve much credit for these positive revelations about your journey, though. You're the one who's been on the adventure. I have barely taken my first step. I spent all my life in my room and then every moment in the afterlife cowering in fear. It's only now the true participation is even a possibility, but even so, I really doubt I'll have much to offer. My other self who I just released, I think she is poised to do something much more significant. What do you think she'll do? I have no clue. But she told you to live, right? Yes, by which I can only assume she meant, yo, live it up, girl! Like, go shopping or something, or rocket down the highway in a convertible with cats flying out the back. That's not the sort of sentiment I can imagine coming from her under any circumstances. But yes, maybe something to the effect of encouraging me to enjoy my existence, as communicated by a more typical, truly asocial member of my species. Really what I took from it was that she is the real one, with all the power and relevance now, and I'm the spare. a civilian in a sense, like in a war. And the only use for civilians from a militaristic point of, or mindset are as those who live their lives in whatever completely irrelevant way they choose to. They are the collateral at stake, the ones for whom the war is theoretically fought, but whose lifestyles, choices, happiness, and such hold no concern whatsoever for those fighting on their behalf. This, I think, is the mindset of cherubs of her alignment, as protectors. It is the relationship they have with those they protect. And so that's probably the relationship she believes she has with me. You make it sound like she's the legit Callie and you're the afterthought, like the one from the funky reality that didn't go right. Technically, her timeline was doomed by her predomination alone. Even so, yes. It doesn't feel as though my reality was the oddity. Chairs were never supposed to grow up like me, exposed to other caring people and learning from them. It made me different and unfit to predominate, yet ironically this was requisite for the timeline's success. And it was necessary for you all to begin your journey as well. So this seems like an example of what I was just saying, actually. The story of the two Callies, neither's really more important, and your timelines can't be really described as the good one or the bad one. There were good and bad things about both ways stuff went down, and different qualities to the people you became. Her life sounds like it was harsh and lonely in its own way, but it sort of paid off because she got to beat her brother, but then got arbitrarily punished for that outcome because it wasn't supposed to happen? And then you finally meet her and free her or something, so she presumably gets to go off and do something badass? Then there's you, who had a probably even more challenging upbringing getting so hassled by your bro, and he killed you, I guess, because the way the deck was shuffled, he had the edge this time? But the upshot was, you got to have all these great friends who cared about you, and it helped you become the nice person who you are, who means a lot to other people, and now you get to live whatever kind of life you want, and be completely free from all the crummy stuff you grew up with. Who cares if you aren't as strong as her, or don't have the wicked power she does, or some important mission to do? You both came from perfectly legitimate realities, and in my honest opinion, you're both equally valuable. And both of those realities seem to be tied together. She can't do her mysterious badass thing unless you make it all the way through your journey and free her. And your reality was the thing setting the stage for this huge multiversal vortex of problems, which after a cajillion fucking after a cajillion fucking epochs, she was always meant to resolve in some way. And that doesn't mean your life was like a means to an end in a big cosmic sense. I think it's more like you are the end, or one of the ends. You and me and everyone who made it, and everyone who didn't. So that means you don't have to be able to do a lot of super special shit to validate your identity as the real version of yourself. The only validation you need is being who you are, cause no one can be that person but you. Those are very inspiring things to hear, Roxy. I hope you're right, but even so, I think I would still like to be useful. You can be! You can help me out! How? I know you aren't God tier or anything, or probably never did much to get in touch with your aspect, but maybe that doesn't matter. You are space, right? Yes, a muse of space. Sounds cool! It is cool, I think. Especially having seen what I could have been. No, but that potential has to be inside you somewhere. Actually, it's one reason why I wanted you to be here with me. Wanted you to be here with me for a while, aside from catching up a bit. What do you need me to do? Nothing really, just be here with me while I try this. I don't know why, but I feel like your presence will help. And if nothing else, I just like having you here. Makes me feel better about trying to focus on this weird little chore. But you think my aspect is relevant? Maybe. I think space is related to this in some abstract way I can't put my finger on. I gotta make this egg, see? But it isn't really just an egg, it's this hella complicated egg, and both its biological design and everything it represents for the future of an entire civilization, and I don't have the genetic or chemical or molecular blueprints for it or anything. I have to figure it out using just thought, like ideas. Ideas that are really basic and live in this primordial sort of quasi-consciousness. So I have to build the idea of this egg in some way before I do anything, which means trying to grasp its reality and what it represents. It's like a funky little construct of biological propagation, and I think that intersects with the nature of space. At least as we have come to understand it. The propagation of space is really just some profound cosmological feat of reproduction that is a literally biological process, right? Pretty much. So to make this egg as a rogue of void, what I'm really doing here is something kind of insane. You yourself told me once how I'd be able to do this crazy shit. I did. I'll be like, probing nothingness for an idea, a pretty complicated idea in this case, and pulling that idea from unreality. So, maybe if I'm right, and a closer connection to the nature of space will help me locate that idea, almost like standing next to an antenna to boost the signal of that idea, then maybe my chance will be better, and hey, even if not, it's just nice to have a friend nearby while you try to do something hard. Okay, so next up is this one? Looks like it's going to be this one. Let me take another swig of water. My nostrils, partway through that, my nostrils decided they were going to stop. So that's why I had to sniffle. What do you think they're talking about over there? I suspect Roxy wanted some time to catch up with an old friend. I'm sure I would want the same if I hadn't just had an extensive reunion with her myself. Yeah, I guess we should just chill out and give them a moment. It isn't quite time to head to our battle stations yet, so we might as well try to relax until it is. I imagine it's a lot easier to relax when another version of yourself hasn't been hijacked by your dead cat. Yeah, it probably is. Maybe you should try not to let her bug you, Rose. She seems harmless enough, plus she's pretty funny. Sounds suspiciously like the advice of someone who's never had to deal with an outlandish alternate version of himself. Hey, I've bumped into other Johns a few times. Can't say the experience has been anything other than perfectly agreeable. You mean Johns that were essentially time duplicates in the course of your retcon quest? Yes. Those don't count. Those were just regular Johns. What I'm saying is, you never had to deal with the John who was like half Harry Anderson and half Maplehoof, the dear departed pony. Wow, that sounds great! Come to think of it, you're the only one of us who hasn't. I mean, of our original group of friends, Dave had Bird Dave, Jade had Dog Jade, and now I have Cat Rose. Why were you let off the hook? I don't know, guess you guys are just luckier than me. Even putting aside the wildly unwelcome body horror slapstick routine she represents, and the machine gun salvo of opprobrious remarks and conduct which my cat is apparently capable of releasing from my subconscious, I'm not sure where this leaves me. What do you mean? I felt like I understood my place. I'd gotten myself in order somewhat. My, beverage decisions had gotten more reasonable. I was ready to bear down and play my part in finishing this. I could even handle a stray rose sprite brought to my doorstep by my sweet imbecile of a pet. Idiotic though that was, I was still clearly Rose Prime, but can I really claim that now? She's a sprite squared? How was that even a thing? Can someone tell me how that's even a thing? I can't tell you how it's even a thing. I think we're all just as flabbergasted as you at this point at its thingness. What's next? Is there a sprite cubed or let's not even entertain this avenue of thought. The point is, she must be quite powerful and insightful, and in spite of the beast she rents headspace out to, intelligent as well. Doesn't she arguably have more claim to being real Rose than I do? I don't think being the real Rose necessarily means being the one who's more outgoing and chatty and powerful and stuff. I'm not sure it means anything. I think maybe we should just try to drop the stuff about who the real version of who is anyway. It's weird and it just hurts people's feelings. I don't care if my feelings are hurt though. I just want to know where I stand. I really don't think she's that threatening to you. Believe me, you still seem like the Rose I always knew, whereas she doesn't quite. It seems to me she's a lot more interested in having fun and zipping around like a silly lunatic than usurping you as the main Rose. Sure, that's what she wants you to think. But why do you care? I thought I heard the other Rose say, before she was a cat, that she liked the idea of being some sort of backup Rose. Do you not feel that way too? That was a different context. I probably would have felt the same way if I found myself in her exact situation. Jasperos changes everything though. Now I feel a certain responsibility, like I have to really step up. Step up? Yes, to make sure I stay regarded as the exemplary model. To provide assurance that the concept of Roseness itself doesn't degrade due to black market peddlers of substandard shit. Basically, I need to defend the integrity of the brand. Oh my god. What? Nothing? I just miss you so much. My brand missed you too, John. Your brand has good taste in friends and kicks ass. Nerds. Hey, how do you think Kanai and Karkat are doing? They're probably getting a stern earful of roiling monster patoys right about now. You think they'll be successful? At what? At talking to a monster? I don't know. I think Hardcat will successfully fail to understand the monster, and possibly also successfully shout at the monster. Kanai, I think, will probably successfully do something sensible in response to whatever the monster demands. So, you think they're going to pull it off, then? I'm still not sure what it is, but yes. Well, the idea was to release the frog, I think. You think so? That's what Vriska said. Vriska says a lot of things. That's the basic idea, yes, but monsters can be complicated. Regardless, I think the right person was summoned to handle it. You really trust Kanaya, don't you? Sure. Not to change the subject too hard into something maybe you don't want to talk about because of your brand, but I think you make a nice couple. You do? Yes, I thought so last time I was hanging out with you both in the screwed up timeline, but didn't say anything then. I still think it's true. I'm glad it didn't change when I retconned some things. I am too. Maybe that means it's a strong relationship. If it can survive... God. Whatever the hell happened. A hard 3-year reboot and then the sudden presence of Vriska? Well, when you put it that way, it really does sound like you're trying to fuck us up. Nerds! Terezi, shush. What? I have just been minding my own business and in no way whatsoever saying anything directed at a couple of silly nerds saying dorky things. No, you said nerds twice. You always say nerds when in earshot of other people who are just being friendly. Isn't it weird how you were making this observation and no one else is? What? No. Meaning, maybe I only say it when the pair of nerds in earshot happens to include you? Ah! What was that look? What look? That look you just gave me. I didn't give you a look, dingus. Yes, you did. Don't look at me like that. Whatever look you think I gave you, it was in your imagination. It is possible you may be flattering yourself, Egbert. Oh, whatever. Hey, what are you even still doing here? Weren't you going to go with Dave and get ready for battle? Yes, I'm just giving him and his bro some time to themselves first. I'm sure they could use it, and whatever the hell is going on between them, the last thing I want to do is involve myself. That sounds even more awkward than lingering around you goofy bunch of nerds being all cute and mushy with your human family and friendship stuff. Yeah, you sure do sound put off by it, all hanging on our every word and such. It takes a will of iron, trust me. Uh-huh. But, yeah, I actually do agree. It does sound pretty awkward to be around Dave and his bro while they, get to know each other, I guess? Yep. I'm not sure how well Dave really even knew his adult bro, actually. Aside from bogusly idolizing him in a way that was really transparent that he didn't. I wonder how different Dirk is from him, if at all. I wouldn't be the one to ask. What do you think, Rose? I don't think there's anyone who could answer that. I suspect literally no one in the history of anywhere has ever met both people. Until, as of now, Dave himself. I hope Dave's okay. Are we about to find out? Nope, there's just a Roxy. Making my way downtown through these paths as we try to do void stuff. There's a Callie. There's a Roxy. I apologize. I wasn't expecting that to just turn into a whole thing that I was able to continue doing. And now she wiggles. Let me stop, because it was I actually probably could have continued, but I'm gonna stop. I'm sorry. This looks trippy as hell. This right here. This is gonna be what the last 20 seconds of the video is. Which I keep doing because I intend on eventually going, here's where I would put videos that I recommend to you if I actually had the patience to do that, but I don't. Maybe someday. Yeah. Hiss. Is that the skull of, like, the original Kanaya? Oh, look at all the little things. Wait a minute. Some of these are the new ones. Like the new Hive Swap ones. Were these always here? Have these weird random Hive Swap ones always been here? Some of them look like Matrix codes, though. Egg! Hell yes! Egg! Okay, maybe this should be the one I end the video with. Just her doing a dance and egg. Maybe because this is just really, 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 really reminiscent of Act 3, and I missed that. And now it's time for really, really fast talking. Definitely going to need water again. It's me again! Murmur, purr, cat sound, stretch. Spearos, did you know I love you? Weird thing for me to say and you to hear, probably. I'd hear the adoration our cat had for you, which is now strangely directed with the exact same intensity at myself because I'm you. Funnily enough, this manifests itself in a particularly acute form of narcissism, which is something we were already sort of afflicted by, and so our cat was by the very nature of that sort of animal he was. The bottom line is I'm pretty twisted up inside in all the most beautiful ways, and it's wonderful. It really isn't. As much as I enjoy getting a load of that gorgeous whiskerless mug of yours, it's not actually why I dropped by. I'm here on a current matter of business with Jane. Huh? We have to prepare for our healing duties, hammer out our strategy and such, really sink our claws into the expensive upholstery of that problem. But first, I have somewhere to take you. What? Where? It keeps giving me really great things to end the video with, and I don't know which one to pick. There's someone you really must meet before we all start skittering across the great laminated floor of combat. As the ghost and spiritual guide of whomever my whims decide I should be serving at any given moment, I can't allow another second to pass without introducing the two of you. Who? This way! What the hell is this? What the hell is this? Is this her particular brand of snake monster? Oh! It's Nana Sprite! You! Okay. Is that gonna come back at some point? Meanwhile, I assume they just went here. You can stay here with the others until this all blows over. With who exactly? Jade! She's sleeping. Please keep an eye on her, okay? Yes, of course. I'd be happy to. Also, a man they call the mayor is here. I don't know much about the dude myself, but apparently he's a hell of a guy. Give him my regards. I will. So where's the egg go? Y'all should hug, though. It would be adorable. So, yeah, if we make it through this, I'll come back for you, and then we can figure out what happens next. I can't wait. Hope you're not sick of hearing it yet, but I'm still so psyched you're with us. Of course I'm not sick of it. It's just, Callie, in times such as these, you know, words have trouble cutting it. Come here. Keep me in your thoughts, okay? In the luckiest and magicest way you know how. I will, Roxy. Now, if you will excuse me, did they hug or did they kiss? Because the hug would have been adorable, but it didn't show it, so I don't know. I got a delivery to make. Okay, now it's more for that awkwardness, and then this happens. Maybe we should go over this again, because honestly, I'm still not sure I get it. What? Who are we actually fighting again? Jack Noir? Yeah. Well, one version of Noir. There's a shitload of them, though. Which one is this? He's yours. Ours? Yeah, the one from your session. But our Jack spent months in prison. Well, I guess he broke out. He's kind of like a huge fucking deal now. When did this happen? I have no idea. I wasn't here. I guess neither was I. He's got Lord English powers, though. He's apparently, like, just wretched fucking news. Damn. It's gonna be hard to beat, even armed with the ultimate weapon, some swords. Sounds like some shit is going down. Let's not downplay our sword gambit, though. I have yet to encounter a problem where a sword didn't factor into the solution, at least in some way. I bet. Bear in mind, I haven't actually solved many problems over the course of my life, but the ones I have, man, swords proved hells of instrumental. What do you mean you didn't solve many problems? Didn't you, like, program robots and stuff? I guess I meant real problems involving people. Oh, those. So, Jack has Lord English powers. Yep. Does that have anything to do with Jake? Not according to my current understanding of a mostly nonsensical body of information. What does it actually mean, then? Not sure. Mostly that he's really hard to kill, I think. Okay, well, that's decent intel, at least. He might be vulnerable to Welsh things, too. Don't quote me on that, because it'll make me sound like an idiot. Alright? Dot dot dot. I wish I could remember what Kanaya called these. This hesitation crumbs, I think. Do you know when he arrives? I already said I don't know. Right. Guesstimate? Not soon enough is my best guess, and I guess also my opinion? Oh. Is everything alright? Sure. It just seems like maybe you aren't that into this, or at least not as much as I was. Whenever I imagined the possibility of us meeting, were you? Yeah, I guess I'm not doing a very good job of showing it now. I think that's probably just what I'm like, though. You don't say? I mean, when it comes to people in general, but probably especially people who are an important part of my life. So, you think I'm an important part of your life? Yes? You don't actually know me, though. Not this me, and I'm pretty sure you didn't know the other guy either. That's true. What is it about me that's important, then? I'm not sure how to answer. Why? Because I'm getting the sense that you might disapprove of whatever I might say. Maybe you'll think it's weird that I idolized some version of you that I never knew. Idolized? See, it seems like you think that it's weird. Yeah, I shouldn't have said anything. I don't know if it's weird, I just can't process it. Why? Because maybe not anything to do with you per se, but how I view my bro, and I gotta say, meeting you, it's not rocking my world here, or upending any paradigms or whatever. Listening to you and looking at you really just reminds me of him. I know you're different and all, and also like a kid, I guess, but you don't feel that different, and hearing anything like that, like about idolization or like you were actually looking forward to this in any sincere way, is kind of fucking jarring. Huh. So, like, things between you and me from your perspective, are we, like, not cool? Well, here's well, I guess. I didn't fucking like you that much, okay? Oh. Why not? Honestly, I don't know if I want to get into it. Okay. Is that like a cloud formation of the Statue of Liberty back there? Or is it just time passing? Kind of looks like a cloud formation of the Statue of Liberty. Okay, maybe I will actually get into it. I don't know why my friends got to have adults who around who cared about them. They complained bitterly about stuff, so I guess I convinced myself they were all in the same boat as me, but that's not how it was. Their complaints were trumped up nonsense, and I bought into it because, I don't know, I didn't have any frame of reference. But his dad and her mom, no matter what they said, it was so obvious they cared about them deeply. Even Jade's weird fucking grandpa, who died when she was young, obviously would have done anything for her. Why did I get such a raw cut of the asshole deck? And why did it take me so long to figure that out? And, like, he's dead now, so that's that. So all that's left to do is look back and try to put the pieces together of my first 13 years. And all I can think is, what the fuck was that? I don't come away with the impression that I used to try convincing myself of that, like, he was, like, mysterious or stern or aloof. The only feeling left is this insane impression that I was raised by somebody who fucking hated me. And the whole act of even raising a child was some totally fucked up game to him. Like, parenthood was one of the highest tiers of irony in his solemn bullshit bro ninja code. So he went through these motions and did whatever he thought was funny or badass, but under that weird stylistic and totally sociopathic approach to parenting, I can't even imagine there was any emotion towards me other than some sort of loathing. What did he do? I don't want to get out the laundry list, but for reference, laundry wasn't one of those things. That was just one of the many little domestic things I just sort of had to figure out. Sort of like I eventually had to learn what the real purpose of a refrigerator was from movies. Wait. What? I don't know, there's just too much to even get into. I don't remember the atmosphere ever not being nerve-wracking. All having to sneak around and... my shitty childhood spider senses are just tingling just thinking about it. It was training, you know? But, you know what it really was? It was some vicious shit that was bad and sucked, and I hated it. It didn't make me stronger. It did the opposite. It made me never want to fight. It made me never want to see blood, or be near danger, or hear metal sounds. It made me hate the idea of being a hero, because he was a hero, and he ruined the idea of heroism. I don't even want to be fighting the shitty version of Jack, but hey, nobody else has Secret Wells powers, so I guess I have to. What gets me is how long it took me to put all this together, to stop seeing it as some kind of roughhousey and eccentric life I had, but was otherwise normal. It took years to deconstruct it all and put it back together, to understand how fucking mad I should be. And in particular, how stone cold, deeply uncared for I was my whole life, like being merely monitored by a violent robot. I only started getting into it after spending a lot of time in person with a bunch of people who actually did care about me, and I could start feeling like actually somewhat human for the first time, instead of some sort of runty afterthought to a household cabal of smutty puppets. Puppets? The fucking puppets! I know how it sounds, but I am not joking, and there is no shred of doubt in my mind that he loved all those puppets more than me. Honestly, it is very possible that he was just insane, and that's that. I guess it didn't help either that we lived with what we have to come to understand may theoretically be the most evil doll to exist in any universe ever. In fact, it's my tenuous understanding that he came down to Earth with that thing and, actually grew up with it. Maybe spending 30-some years being inseparable from that hell puppet had some effect on him. Maybe if it hadn't been casting a pall over our apartment 24/7 since he took me in, grinning, glaring, laughing in my sleep, maybe our lives wouldn't have been quite... Maybe we would have... What? You okay there? Yeah. That doll, that was Cal, right? Yeah, right. My version is empty, apparently? Whatever that means. Huh. How do you know that? A source. One supposedly knowledgeable in jujus. I never quite knew what that meant, though. Well, whatever his was, empty is never how I would have described it. Man, I don't know if I figured something out here, explain something, or if I'm just driving myself crazy with this talk and nothing even needs explaining. It doesn't change my past, or how I feel about him. He was still pretty much awful no matter what the reason, and I'm sure that's the only feeling I'll ever have about him. So who cares why it was like that? Yeah. That all sounds really bad. I don't know what to say though. Maybe I shouldn't say anything, since I just remind you so much of him for obvious reasons. I don't want to make you feel worse or make it sound like I'm offering a defense for him or me, because I don't have one for either of us. Come on, man. You didn't do anything. This was just some douchebag with your exact DNA who happened to grow up to be my bro. You had a completely different life full of, different choices and actions and stuff, and if you were going to turn out like him, you've barely cleared the halfway mark on actually chronologically getting there. In some way, ranting about all this is probably just uncool of me because you aren't him. You're not responsible for any of this shit, but I'm sort of implicitly tacking it on you anyway, so sorry about that. I'm not sure it's true, though. At least I don't feel that way. What way? That I'm not him. The fact is, I am. It's something I've come to understand about myself. All splinters of me are basically me, no matter how much I want to resist that truth, or pretend they aren't reflecting my own qualities back at me. I bear a certain responsibility for all of them. Splinters? Yeah. I guess the concept isn't that unique to me. We've all got other versions of ourselves running around here and there throughout the various compartments of this messed up cosmos. Right. I just happen to be particularly connected to mine. I felt haunted by them. And what that really means is I'm perpetually haunted by my own bad qualities. So when I hear about the stuff I did in another reality, I'm not sure what my adult self might have ever tried to do to atone for that stuff, if anything. Pretty much dick squat. Yeah, but in any case, I'm pretty sure I was completely in the wrong, and I'm sorry I messed up your life. Thanks, but it still feels a little odd accepting an apology from somebody who I just met and technically had nothing to do with my life. Even if you do feel guilty splinter ways or whatever. It is just a messed up situation, and I guess I had to vent. And there was never anyone I wanted to say all that to, and The only thing that was going to drag it out of me, I guess, was like a teen stand-in phantom of my dead bro. Just some perfectly innocent dude having to take the brunt of this shit. I'm not particularly innocent, though. I've messed up a lot of things with my friends. Honestly, that's why I wasn't that bent on sticking around when I showed up, and pretty much jumped at the offer of flying here to get ready for some yet-to-be-explained battle. Battles are easy, just you, a sword, some bad guys. It's a lot simpler than having to answer for things you did. For the most part, I feel pretty bad about the role I played in my friends' lives, especially Jake. What happened there? I don't even know. An unmitigated disaster for which I'm entirely to blame. It's not any one thing. I think I was just a completely toxic element in his life from day one. I don't know what he's doing now. I wouldn't be surprised if he was trying to avoid me as much as possible. I'm sure that's for the best. I think I need to stay out of his business for a good while, so I don't risk poisoning another innocent kid's life like I did with you, apparently. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a little different because relations between peers is a whole other thing. It's tricky shit and you're both figuring stuff out in a relatively equal footing, and you're both on the same point in your lives. It's not like when one person is older and supposed to be a lot more... never mind. This is a fucked up thing to think about, but the bottom line is, yeah, lying low while you sort out your stuff can't hurt. Right. The thing with that, with my adult self ways, the sad thing is, I can really see it. How someone like me can go unchecked in life and turn out to become a much worse person than I already am. I guess I'm just relieved I still have some time to make sure that doesn't happen. You don't actually seem like a bad person to me, though. No? Nah. Why not? We did just meet after all. Because I don't know if truly bad people wrestle so much with whether they're good or bad. I think if I ever sensed my bro, like, struggled at all with what he was doing or who he was, or showed any sort of doubt, that might have changed everything, but there was never a crack in it, or the slightest hint of introspection behind the aggressive cool dude facade. If there was, I sure never noticed. I mean, personally, I think about it all the time now, what it actually means to be good or bad, or if not something that starkly moral, at least just trying to examine the difference between being decent and being a douche. Maybe it's because of him I worry about that now, but for me, I think that internal struggle is kind of mild. For him, or you I mean, it sounds like some pretty dark shit, like grappling with becoming evil versus simply trying not to. Yeah, that's not too far off. But the point is, even just talking to you a little bit, it's obvious you've been fighting with that, which means you care enough to put in some effort. I think that counts for something. Maybe. Not sure if I'm ready to accept a pat on the back for recognizing I have some problems, and worrying about whether they'll destroy me and fuck up the people I care about. That might be setting the bar kind of low. Well, when it comes to the subject of him, the bar is already pretty low, dude. The weird thing, honestly, is that it's actually kind of refreshing to hear sincerely leveled critique of all my negative qualities coming from another person invested in a relationship with me, rather than from a fucked up iteration of myself as some bizarre trollish form of self-abuse. The only thing I've ever been exposed to are either various forms of self-loathing either from me or my autoresponder, or attitudes completely oblivious to my real issues as expressed through my friends. My friends always seemed to cut me so much slack, or were just never aware of the kind of person I really was. Well, Jake probably is, by now at least. But he's also sort of the guy who's just as likely to blame himself for the stuff I did, as he is to blame me. Jane and Roxy, though, never seemed to see anything wrong with me. If anything, just the contrary. Roxy had a certain fixation. She meant well, but was so enamored of me and seemingly everything I did, which I think was the last thing I needed, to be idolized in some form by other people I respected. I had enough of that feeling coming from within, particularly when I was younger. And since then, I've been plagued by the insane ego of youth in the form of an artificial intelligence I designed which essentially trapped that state of mind in a sort of hard, suspended animation until recent developments, of course. So, was that true? That stuff true when you said you idolized the other version of me? Yeah. And not just some bullshit like how I used to say the same thing about my bro when I didn't know any better. It's definitely not like that. I never lived with him or met him, so couldn't have anything like the contentious relationship you had with my older self. He was a historical figure from centuries ago. There was a lot to admire and think about fondly, especially since I was alone, and never had any direct contact with another person or any form of concept of civilization. So, Even though I'm sure I romanticized what his life was like and the early 21st century in general, it was nice to think about you. I pass a lot of time that way. You say there was a lot to admire? Like what? Well, he was pretty famous. He made some successful movies, at least under a somewhat expansive definition of success, and an even more expansive definition of movie. His work accumulated a lot of subversive political influence, which got him in trouble later. He made like a million bullshit statues of liberty, scummed them up with JPEG artifacts, and littered them all over the planet. Holy shit. He was also a pretty badass swordsman and an active member of the resistance movement. He slaughtered the clown presidents on the roof of the White House and flew away on a shitty skateboard. Then it seems he gave the Batter Witch a pretty good run for her money. It wasn't enough, but at least he went down fighting. That, yeah, I'm gonna need to hear more details on this sometime. Sure, but as you can tell, clearly there was a lot to look up to. I thought about the examples you set constantly. The creative ideals, the advanced theories on irony and humor, the tales of courage and martial prowess. Really, I model everything about myself after you, or at least everything good that I was trying to become. And I probably spent an embarrassing amount of time imagining what it must be like to live during his time, and to be able to have something resembling a sibling relationship, or be in some sort of master-apprentice situation. When I finally learned you existed, and started to understand who he really was in relation to me, that put a lot into context. I realized he was a version of you who got a chance to live up to his full potential. And when I understood there was a young version of you, in a situation sort of like mine, whose time on Earth got cut short when you were thrown into all this, I was at least happy to think there was some reality where you got the chance to do everything you wanted to do, be successful, and fight for all the right things. Even if ultimately it didn't lead to a great outcome for humanity, you had an opportunity to live a full life and show what you were made of. Well, I guess I had the same opportunity on your world, somewhat less fortunately. Yeah, but then for all my bitching, I guess I still never grasped your full reality. Just like you probably didn't grasp mine, but just reading into the mindset of a historical figure as best you could? What if I wasn't as heroic as it seemed? What if adult me was kind of douchey too in a way you couldn't observe? Perhaps, but beyond a certain point, I think accomplishments speak for themselves. I don't know if you can just completely shred every person who ever did great things because they had some flaws. All I can say is, it was important to me to see him the way I did, as a good person who inspired me and set the standard for what I wanted to be. It kept me going. That said, I'm also glad there's this version of you who got to go through all the things you've been through. Like, yeah, you didn't get to be the cool celebrity who cuts down juggalos on badly defaced government property, and the idea of a normal life was rudely taken from you, and it's something you'll never get to experience. But this is so much more challenging and uncertain. You get to apply all that potential you showed in one reality to something much bigger and more existentially critical. Whatever strength you showed in trying to save a dying planet, the fact is, I think we need that more here. And the trials inherent in being a part of something like this, I think they bring more out of you than a relatively pedestrian life on Earth would. Make you face more things about yourself. At least, that's been true for me. But it sounds like it's been true for you too. It sounds to me like the experiences you've had changed you a lot for the better. You mentioned the experiences with him that were designed to make you stronger have actually made you weaker, but really, I doubt that's true. I bet you've become stronger than you realize, not because of anything he did, but because of what you've done, and the ways you've changed yourself through your own effort. I hope it doesn't come off as overly sentimental garbage, but it seems to me like you've turned out to be a really good dude. Like, really, a better sort of dude that I ever imagined talking to when I pictured meeting the legendary guy I idolized. I pictured him as probably being too cool to be the type of guy you are, but you know what? Fuck being too cool for that. You don't think I'm cool? Nah, I mean, in the right way, yes, I think you are, but in the way that doesn't mean anything and doesn't matter, not particularly. Anyway, that's all my stuff with respect to your other self. Again, there's a lot more I could say about him. Maybe stuff you should know, or maybe it's all irrelevant to the path you're on now. Regardless, I'd be more than willing to answer any questions you have about him, or anything really. Feel free to ask me whatever, okay? Yeah, I'll have to think. Something exploding out there? Is that a tree? Hey. Sorry about this. What? For what I'm doing now? This bullshit right here? Oh, what? It's really fucked up with me what I'm presently doing, so sorry about that. Oh, yeah, man, this is some fucked up shit, alright? I know. But it's cool, don't worry about it. So fucked up. Sorry. And, last but not least, this one. Hey! Yes? Hey! 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 You said another hey. Are you going to say hey again by any chance? Hey! I knew it. Another hey. Kanaya! Guess what? My first guess will be more hey, but if the thing to guess is the reason you're saying hey at me several times, I confess to being stumped. I got something for you! You do? What? That's the thing you got to be guessing! Is it the thing behind your back? Yeah, but you gotta be more specific. Is it a little piece of paper that says hey on it? No, but that would be so funny. You're pretty funny. Damn, now I want to go away and start this whole shit over so I can do that punchline instead. Maybe we should do several rehearsals first just to make sure the final performance is as funny as possible. Yes, but no. What I have for you is this. Ta-da. Is it real? Yeah, I mean, as real as I could make it, which I think means as real as the thing that it is and was always supposed to be when its idea is expressed as purely as possible through physical matter. Wow. What? It's a real alien egg! Bottom line, it took a lot of work and I guess voidy soul searching, but I finally made it! Just for you. For me? Yep. Hey, I know I don't know you too well. We just met, but really, it was always going to be for you. This egg is stinking useless without someone who's qualified to care for it, and that's you. Please look after little guy. I've developed some oddly motherly feelings for the spiky fucker myself. It was like this whole quasi-intellectual, emotional saga or something for me to figure out how to make this freaking egg. It's a matriorb. Yeah, that! I can't... I don't believe this. How is it possible? I still don't know how you did this. Don't worry about it. It's just... powers, whoosh whoosh, magic noises. Voila! Insta orb! Just add the subtraction of its non-existence. Thank you. No problem. I didn't think it would be this easy. I mean, not that it was easy for you by the sound of it. What I mean is, I thought it was going to involve an arduous and lengthy process for myself to undertake in order to figure out how it was even possible to reconstruct the orb, let alone actually do it. Nah. Nope. So instead of all that, it just handed it to me like a nice present. Yes. I don't know what to say. This changes so much about everything I thought I had to do. Does it? The way I see it is you shouldn't have needed to worry about making the thing. I think it'll be challenging enough, like, hatching it and tending to all the stuff that comes next. Isn't that basically being responsible for the preservation of an entire race of people? Like, not even a simple kind of people that go all about having their own babies by themselves and such. You have to set up and deal with this huge creature that does it all herself, right? Yes, that's how it works. And yes, that will be probably very challenging. Yeah, so just focus on that. I'm sure you will have help if you need it. I mean, after all this shit is over, obviously. Hey, speaking of which, how'd it go here? Did you do the thing? Yes, I think we did the thing. Our frog should be good to go. We? Oh yeah, Carcat came too, didn't he? Where'd he go? Oh, he's still in the cave, meditating. Meditating, huh? Yes, it was a very spiritually uplifting encounter with the denizen. It really, blitzed our chakras. He needs some time to clear his head. Okay. So you're Rose's girlfriend, right? I don't know. Is that what humans call a mate spirit when the mate spirit is a girl? I don't know. Is a mate spirit the thing trolls call each other when they're girlfriends or boyfriends with each other? Yes? Haha! Then the answer is yes. Yes. Laugh myself. Okay, it was kind of obvious. I was just making sure. Anyway, that's cool. Did you meet on your fancy meteor vessel? In person we met there, yes. Originally we first spoke while she was still in her session. I assisted somewhat, but I think I bugged her mostly. That seems like a lifetime ago now. So I guess you must have gotten to know each other a lot better during the trip. Yes, we had a lot of free time. I bet. Man, 3 years was it? That's crazy! For a whole bunch of people who only just met, including humans and aliens? Or, I mean, trolls, whoops, sorry if that's rude. We call each other aliens all the time. But then you all immediately have to hunker down together for 3 years. That is very much what happened and what we had to do. It sounds fun! Kinda wish I could have been there. I guess I had my own less long stint with people in my session. Only like half a year, though. Which was cool in its own way, but it wasn't nearly as social as your scene sounded. It was pretty social, yes, but we also had little groups who generally convened with each other more often than the entire ensemble crowded together for a singular noisy affair. Such events were pretty rare, so maybe not as social as you were picturing. In fact, it was quite a subdued situation compared to the crowd I was formerly accustomed to congregating with. There were 12 of us back then. Yeah, wow! I remember hearing about that from a friend, who never even existed from this frame of reference. I guess that's another weird thing about my little sojourn to get to this point. It is all made of memories now that didn't even happen for other people. That does sound like a lonely predicament in its own particular way. A sort of sacrifice you had to make, yes? Yeah, sacrifice abounds, it would seem. I don't know how anyone presently alive who hasn't had to trade something very... So I don't know of anyone presently alive who hasn't had to trade something very important to them in exchange for continuing to be a material seeker in this endeavor. You were forced to trade something too, but in return you've been able to do something. Something so wonderful that... I guess I'm judging your accomplishment from an especially personal vantage. But no matter what else you've been through, I believe you can say you've done something as important as anyone could ever hope to do. Oh yes! I hope so! I really hope it all works out for you and you make a super successful troll world too. Yeah, I want it to be a good place, not so much like where I'm from. It all sounds really daunting, actually. Not even just the propagation of my kind, but managing to do it responsibly, just causing millions of beings to exist for the sake of doing so, and dismissing responsibility for what sort of people they become. That isn't good enough for me. I think Echidna was right. I'll need him. Who? Oh, nobody. Let's say it was a figure of speech. I'll need everyone, whoever is good and wishes to have a hand in the way our world is shaped. Count me in! I will, but as of the immediate point in time, I don't know what to do anymore. Before you came, I was on my way to join you and Rose and John, feeling quite sure I was about to get ready to fight. But then you gave me this, and now I'm unsure of everything to which I just imminently committed myself. How so? I want to help us win, but I also have a lot of responsibility now, in a way that is much more tangible and also spiky and round and sharp than just a few minutes ago. And I feel I have to consider risk to myself as now also the same as risk to the future of my people. Does that make sense? Oh, I see. Yeah, it's like a mother wolf being all ready to stand up to some other assholes of nature, like a nasty bear, and she's ready to fight and all, but she's got to think about what happens to her pups if she gets hurt, yeah? Something like that. Except I'd relate more to an analogy that didn't involve weird alien creatures. Oh, sure, just instead of a wolf, it's like a mother. Help me out here, muscle beast, a beautiful mother muscle beast, and instead of a bear, it's a Metroid. Let's say good enough. Damn straight. Be fucking fight of the year right there. But yes, that concern is completely understandable. You don't gotta fight if you don't want, but I'm sure we could really use the help. Would I actually be of much use? I think so. I look at it this way. None of this next-gen troll stuff is even going to matter if we don't win this fight, so we have to prioritize beating all these goddamn villains, especially the witch. Any extra edge is going to help, and though I admit I don't know much about you, I'm feeling pretty confident in my assessment that you're probably some sort of sick, deadly bitch. Who told you my secret? I knew it! In fact, I would bet that you could use your concern for all your future space pups to be way extra deadlier in this fray. Maybe you make the whole difference. The point is, we need you now just as much as anyone in the future will. And we are all risking stuff and all of this together. And if you're with me and Rose and John, don't worry, we ain't going to let anything happen to you. I promise. Dang. Dang? That was really motivational and I feel very inspired now. For real? Yes. A little corny, but definitely genuine and moving. And now I'm suddenly psyched again to go dunk a narcissistic fishwoman into a sea dumpster. Fuck yes! Not to project myself as someone fickle or lightly swayed on big decisions. Maybe it was just a roughly 30-second spell of cold feet, and I just snapped out of it? I don't know. But you really do seem to have a way with motivational words. You must be a natural leader. I think your group was lucky to have you. Me? Nah. I'm not naturally good at all. I mostly just yelled at my friends because they were such a gaggle of frustrating bozos. I guess I'm just feeling way inspired by the fact everyone is here together, and we're all about to try to do something huge and important. I've also watched John in action a bit, and he is very good at that stuff. He's actually so good at being inspiring, he's inspired me to try and be more inspiring? That sounds dumb as hell, but it is true as shit. I also love how he's got no idea how good he is at leadery stuff. It's so inspirationally freaking adorable. Smiley face. Shall we go then? We hella shall. So they're just gonna leave. What the heck? Oh. I think they're just gonna leave Karkat on that planet, and I'm gonna stop this episode here because this might be the thing with the thing. So. This has been Anashi Sasuke. This was, I believe, episode 141 of Let's Read Homestuck. In the next one, we're gonna deal with this. And the reason this episode is so long wasn't just that I wanted to go through all those conversations. It's that April 13th is getting here really fucking fast, and I really want to try to be done with Homestuck, if not by that day, before that day. And to do that, I'm going to need these episodes to be longer than they have. So from now on, every episode of Let's Read Homestuck is going to be minimum an hour. So, thanks for watching. If you liked it, a like and a subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you don't need to do either one of those things, and I will see y'all in the next one. Now I'm going to go find out what moving picture ends the episode. Later.